If you scroll social media for even a few minutes, not only will you be overwhelmed by all of the conflicting health advice, but you'll probably think that you have parasites, mold, Lyme, or some other root cause and need to do some extensive protocol. But before you go there, let's take a breath, because what most women over 40 actually need is a return to the basic foundations of health. This episode is all about what to focus on first in perimenopause before assuming you have some deep, mysterious health issue. So here's what I see over and over. Women who are desperate for answers. You've been dismissed by doctors. You're told that everything looks fine in your labs, and you still feel awful. So naturally, you start digging deeper. You Google symptoms. You join free Facebook groups. You listen to podcasts, and you start hearing about things like mold, parasites, Lyme, MCAS, histamine intolerance, and on and on. And listen, I love functional medicine. I really do. It's how I improved my own health. It's what we teach clients and what I teach here. But there's also a side of this space that creates a lot of unnecessary fear and overwhelm. And it can make you believe that your body is broken when really you are just under supported. So before you start ordering $5,000 worth of testing or do some parasite cleanse, we need to talk about what really moves the needle when it comes to midlife health. These are the things that, quite frankly, will make or break your progress. And unfortunately, a lot of women skip them because they sound too simple. So the first thing is hydration, good old-fashioned hydration. You're not tired because you need another adrenal supplement. You're probably tired because you're dehydrated and your cells can't communicate properly. So if you're not drinking enough water, please start. And if you are, make sure it's filtered water. Add a pinch of sea salt in the morning and throughout the day to start replenishing your lost electrolytes. If you really want to get fancy, you can, of course, buy some electrolyte packets, but make sure it doesn't have any added sugar, artificial sweeteners, or anything junky. You want to keep them as simple as possible, those ingredients. Next is sunlight and your circadian rhythm. It is so important to get natural light in your eyes, preferably within 30 minutes or so of waking up, but get outside whenever you can in the morning, afternoon, or evening, and dim the lights in your home at night. We are so used to a lot of artificial lighting in our homes, the blue light from TV, phones, laptops, and your hormones follow natural light cues, not artificial ones. So start making some adjustments. And then there is movement. Move every day, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's walking, stretching, dancing, playing with your kids. And of course, you want to try to incorporate some sort of strength or resistance training. If you are timid around weights or going to a gym, start with body weight exercise. These are functional movements that you're going to need as you age. Picking up your grandkids, walking through an airport with your suitcase, putting your carry-on in the overhead storage compartment on the airplane, sitting on a toilet, going up and down stairs. That is all what strength training helps you to do versus having to rely on a walker or a cane when you're older. Movement isn't just about cutting calories. It's so much more than that. And it also regulates your blood sugar, your stress hormones, your digestion, and your mood. Then there's elimination. You need to poop every day and sweat as often as you can. That is detoxification 101. If you're not eliminating well, your body is going to have a really hard time clearing out any waste, toxins, and hormones, especially if you're on HRT, hormone replacement therapy. Then there is sleep and rest. Scrolling your phone until midnight and running on caffeine throughout the day is going to cause poor sleep and fatigue. That's not perimenopause, my friend. That is burnout. Sleep is when your body heals. It's when it repairs and supports your hormones. So protect it like it matters, because it really, really does. And then there's your nervous system. You will have a hard time feeling good if you are stuck in fight or flight. Your body has to feel safe before it can start to repair. Feeling calm, supported, and nourished every day. If you've been running on stress, saying yes to everyone and everything, constantly over-functioning, your nervous system has learned that chaos is normal. In that state, your body's focus is survival, not healing. So your digestion slows down, your hormones go awry, good sleep is harder to come by, and inflammation starts to climb. So before starting some fancy protocol, start by slowing down. Say no more often. whether it's people requesting your time, an invitation to an event that you don't have the capacity for, or even your kids. I know that's a little controversial. It's okay and vital to have boundaries with your children. Having them involved in a million activities where you're running around like a chicken without a head is not helping you or them. Be more discerning about what you commit to. It's okay to say no. It doesn't make you the bad guy. Because if you're not starting to say no, if you're not more discerning about what you're putting your time and energy into, you will start to drown. Then you want to rest intentionally. True downtime, not multitasking in disguise. And I know that goes against everything in society, right? This morning, I sat downstairs in my comfy chair in the living room, sipping a matcha, without my phone. No TV on, no laptop, just silence. It is so incredibly healing. And listen, it can be uncomfortable at first because we are addicted to busyness and constant distractions so that we don't have to sit with our own thoughts. I know this can be hard if you have little kids running around, so find pockets of time throughout your day, even if it's 5 minutes to just breathe versus scroll your phone. I assure you, it will benefit you. Then you want to nourish yourself with good food. Eat enough food. So many women come to us under eating. I've done multiple podcast episodes about this, especially when it comes to protein and fiber, like those fruits and vegetables. You want a variety of colors in your diet and ample animal protein, and of course, some plant protein if you prefer. Under eating and constantly eating fast food tells your body that it's unsafe. Of course, you want to address stress and trauma. And I know that's not really basic or simple, but that is something that you cannot overlook. That doesn't always necessarily mean that you have to go to therapy, but sometimes it just is a matter of journaling, doing something creative that brings you joy, make time for fun in your life, connect with supportive people, and start setting boundaries with people who, quite frankly, don't respect yours. Keep promises to yourself. The more consistent you are, the more your body learns to trust itself again. If you start a program, show up for it. Even if you only have 50% capacity, do something for yourself. Stop putting yourself on the back burner. Safety really is a foundation of health. When your body feels supported, healing becomes possible. A lot of women think that something is wrong with them when truthfully, they've never been consistent long enough to know. They start something on Monday, they stop by the weekend, and then they're drinking wine again, skipping meals, and wondering why they still feel lousy. That's not a broken metabolism or perimenopause. That's a lack of consistency and discipline. And I'm not saying this to shame anybody. It's reality. And as a health coach for almost 13 years, I can assure you, I have heard every excuse. We can't expect results from habits that we don't follow through on. If we allow stress of life to constantly throw us off track, you need to start asking yourself, why do I have so much stress in my life? Or how is my reaction to that stress contributing to it? The women who get the best results when working with us, they're not perfect. They're consistent. They drink their water, they eat their protein, their fiber, they walk, they sleep, and they show up even when life gets busy. And they don't have a victim mentality. They don't blame work, their kids, their husband, or the program. They're responsible for their own health. This part might sting a little, but it's important. You can't heal when you have a victim mindset. You can't outsource your health to a doctor, a coach, or supplements. At some point, you have to take ownership. And that is the most empowering thing that you can do. Because healing is not a quick fix. It is a series of small daily decisions that add up over time. You can't pour from an empty cup, as cliche as it sounds. Your health is the foundation for everything, your relationships, your work, and your overall happiness. And once you've built these foundations and you've been consistent, then maybe you have to dig deeper. At that point, maybe you need to test for things like gut infections, right? And even then, the goal isn't to find what's wrong with you. It's to give your body the support that it needs to function optimally. And by that time, you'll be in such a stronger position to handle it. So ask yourself, am I truly doing the basics or just thinking about doing them? Because most women are just distracted nowadays. And when you strip it all back, health after 40 really can't be more simple than you think. Sunlight, filtered water, real food, movement, rest, connection, and when the time is right, hormone replenishment, because we do have to acknowledge basic physiologic needs that happen as we age. This boring stuff actually works. So if you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and actually put these foundations into practice with guidance and accountability, that's what we do in the Perimenopause method. It is my 4-month program for women over 40 who want to support their hormones, improve their metabolism, and feel good in their body again without overcomplicating it. Even though we look at good old-fashioned blood work and we do utilize mineral testing so that we have data about you and we know what you really need to focus on, we continue to come back to these basic foundations of health because they're that important. All right, my friend, if you want more information on that, check out the link in the show notes, and I will see you next week. Hey, before you go, if you want to know the 10 things that I do every day to improve my energy, mood, and maintain a healthy weight in perimenopause, grab my free resource, Perimenopause Daily Checklist, via the link in the show notes. You'll learn my daily morning and evening rituals, how I reduce overwhelm and get stuff done, how to structure meals to feel good, and much more. Perimenopause doesn't have to be such a struggle. Let's flip the script so you can feel and look your best. The information provided is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not, nor do I act as a doctor or any other medical professional. I am not providing healthcare, medical services, or attempting to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any physical, mental, or emotional disease or condition. The information shared is not intended to be a substitute for the professional medical advice provided by your own medical or mental health provider.